Today, former Clark County Sheriff Jamie Knoll and his wife Misty are expected back in court. Misty Knoll was arrested Thursday and charged with 10 felonies for tax evasion and theft. She's been held in the Scott County Jail without bond since then, and Jamie Knoll now faces 25 felony charges connected to fraud, theft, and misconduct. He bonded out soon after his arrest. Knoll and his wife are accused of not declaring $360,000 in income over 5 years. Investigators said the largest source of income is from vehicle swapping between Jamie Knoll and the Utica Township Volunteer Firefighters Association. Investigators believe he traded department vehicles for personal ones and in some cases sold the personal one back to the department. They said at other times he sold department vehicles to other people and then pocketed the money. The state said none of the transactions were documented in his taxes. The Knolls are also accused of claiming a Maine residence tax credit at a place they owned for less than 2 years, which is against Indiana law. And at their home in Florida, investigators believe they paid nearly $7,000 for pool renovations using fire department funds. Both are due in court at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Our Focus reporter Travis Brees will be there in the courtroom. We'll have more on those proceedings coming up beginning at 4 o'clock today. We have learned a woman died in a hospital nearly a month after a house fire in Butyl earlier this year. The coroner said 50-year-old Stacy Lasley died Friday after suffering burns from that fire on Beargrass Avenue the evening of January 5th. Another person in that home was rescued by an off-duty firefighter, but not injured. The person who shot a man in the Algonquin neighborhood Sunday afternoon remains on the run following a SWAT situation that lasted several hours. Police believed that suspect was inside a house and set up a perimeter along Algonquin Parkway. Metro Police said they were responding to reports of a shooting when witnesses said that suspect may have been hiding in a nearby home. Our Connor Steffen and photojournalist Aspen Hester have the details.
By Sunday afternoon,
officers were quickly on the scene.
People in the Algonquin neighborhood watched on in disbelief as rows of crime scene tape grew wider.
Officers quickly established a perimeter.
And Algonquin Parkway filled with law enforcement.
A SWAT team was called out.
The situation began with reports of a shooting around 2:15. Division 4 Commander Major Tiffany Tatum says responding officers quickly learned the victim was already at the hospital and the suspect may have went hiding in a nearby home.
Do canvas, we talk to witnesses, and we take that information and we take it to a judge for a warrant.
With that information, 4th Division officers and SWAT teams focused their attention on this home in the 900 block, beginning an hours-long standoff.
The SWAT team began hailing, and after a substantial amount of time, that's when the SWAT team entered the location.
Once inside, Major Tatum says the house was empty. Officers believe the suspect stopped inside but left before law enforcement narrowed in. The victim, who Tatum described as a man in his early 20s, is expected to be okay after suffering a gunshot wound to the arm. Tatum also says officials are still looking into if there was a relationship between the victim and the suspect. She says LMPD believes there's no current danger facing homeowners in the area.
We always need our neighbors to help us. I mean, they're partners with us as far as solving crimes.
As LMPD's non-fatal shooting squad continues its search for a suspect, Tatum is urging anyone with information to reach out.
So we need them to provide us with information, and especially if they see something suspicious or they feel uncomfortable, they should always call.
Connor Steffen, WHAS11 on your side.
If you have any information about this shooting, you are asked to call the anonymous tip line at 574-LMPD or use the department's online portal. No one was hurt during a shooting inside of a Taco Bell in Bardstown Saturday. Kentucky State Police now investigating that incident involving a Bardstown officer. It happened Saturday night at the Taco Bell near John Rowan Boulevard and Frost Avenue. Police said they responded to reports of a man trying to light a fire in a nearby gas station, but he'd gone into that restaurant before they arrived. According to court documents, 47-year-old Brian Smith came out of the Taco Bell restroom carrying a large rock. Police said they told Smith to drop that rock multiple times, but he refused and then started walking toward officers, and that's when one of the officers fired his weapon. Kentucky State Police said no one was hurt during that incident, and Smith is now facing several charges, including wanton endangerment. Over in Meade County, a man is charged with murder after police say he used an AR-15 on a woman, killing her. It happened Thursday just outside of Brandenburg. Court documents reveal someone called 911 and told Meade County Dispatch, quote, "Dad's gun went off. Mother has been shot." Deputies say Derek Ford was arguing with the victim when he picked up a gun and pointed it at her and then shot her in the eye. Ford's bond is set at $250,000 and is scheduled to be back in court on Wednesday. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is responding to accusations his administration failed to effectively lead the Department of Juvenile Justice. State Auditor Allison Ball released a report showing that department has inconsistently applied certain policies across facilities which dealt with isolation and use of force. In a statement, Ball said the findings from this review demonstrate a lack of leadership from the Beshear administration, which has led to disorganization across facilities and, as a result, the unacceptably poor treatment of Kentucky youth. Now, here's what the governor had to say about those claims.
I run towards problems, not away from them. And we have made more changes over the past 2 years than we've seen in the history of that system. We separated boys and girls for the first time ever. They should have never been in the same facility. We've been able to separate those pending trial for very high-level violent offenses from those status offenders and low-level offenders.
And you just heard the governor noting his push to open 2 new female-only juvenile justice facilities. He pushed for that funding in his budget proposal, but the one that passed out of the House did not include that funding. The budget's now headed to the Senate. A program that sends certain 911 calls to crisis triage workers expanded this week. The Crisis Call Diversion Program, also known as Deflection, is now operating from 10 a.m. until 2 a.m. That's 4 more hours each day. The expansion started Sunday, and Mayor Craig Greenberg previously had said new hours would allow MetroSafe dispatchers to transfer those 911 calls to social workers overnight. That way, Metro Police can focus on the more violent crime.
More people across Louisville will be able to benefit from these services, and our police officers will have more hours available, more of their essential time that can be focused on preventing and responding to violent crime.
Most importantly, and ideally, this response is decreasing the number of citizens being incarcerated or hospitalized who present with behavioral health issues.
The program there is led by 7 county services and averages 67 mobile response team runs per month. Attorneys for the suspect in the Delphi murder case have asked to push back an upcoming court date. Richard Allen is due back in Fort Wayne's Indiana courtroom next Monday, and Allen is accused of killing 14-year-old Libby German and 13-year-old Abby Williams back in 2017. On Friday, one of his attorneys, Brad Rossi, filed a motion to change that court date, saying he first will be out of town and also needs more time to address accusations made against his team. Prosecutors claim Rossi and Allen's other attorney, Andrew Baldwin, violated a gag order. A trial date against Allen is set for October.